Morning peeps, good morning everyone, how's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. Alright, let's jump straight in and see what there is to talk about today. Let's start with this one. Tyson Fury believes that Joe Joyce made a big mistake by not accepting training offer. I don't think so. I think Joe's right to say thanks, but no thanks. Why do I want to train with you when I want to fight you? And I want to fight you very, very soon. It's not a case of there are no aspirations or ambitions to fight you. Then, okay, it makes sense, like we see with Joseph Parker in the Tyson Fury camp. But if you're Joe Joyce, you get past Zhilei Zhang, you should be calling that Tyson Fury. So, yeah, I don't want to become buddies in training. I want to fight you, so I want to keep that killer mindset. Like, if I get into the training camp with you, we know those Tyson Fury camps. I've seen them. Everyone's happy and everyone's singing Kumbaya around the fire. Fuck that. I want to fight you. I think once you become a top 10 in your division, the idea of being in the same training camps or sparring goes out the window, because right now you should be looking at each other as food. And if you're Joe Joyce, who is at worst number 5 or 6 heavyweight on the planet, you should be looking at the number 1 on the planet as food, not a training partner. So I think Joe's right to say thanks, but fuck that. No, thank you. George Groves backs Joe Joyce to get revenge. I think he will be better this time. We hope so. I mean, he can't be much worse than he was in April. Although, as I said on my video the other day, I do think before the ref, was it the ref or the corner stoppage? The ref stopped it, right, doctor? Before that happened, I did think that Joe was starting to get to Zhang a little bit. G-Man is here. He's in London. Me and him are going to do some videos talking about this fight tomorrow. I am going to go to the press conference tomorrow. I'll probably go to the weigh-ins on Friday as well. But, you know, I think Joe Joyce will get revenge. And it isn't easy to pick Joe Joyce because normally, I mean, 9 times out of 10, when a fighter wins the first fight, they win the second fight. I know Chris Eubank Jr. threw that out the window a couple of weeks back when he beat Liam Smith. But 9 times out of 10, the fighter that wins the first wins the second. It's very rare that you kind of, in this repeat or revenge, you get revenge. It's normally repeat. But I do think Joe, he can't be that bad. I mean, surely he's brought in southpaw sparring. Like, surely, good southpaw sparring. Maybe he's going to play the size game a bit here. It's almost as though he thought, okay, Zhang's bigger than me, and I'm not going to be bigger than him, so we're going to move a lot. And Joe Joyce just isn't a mover. It's just not what he's done. I don't know why they're trying to make him into a mover. Joe Joyce is the juggernaut. And the idea of that guy is that he runs straight through you. So I think as long as he can work on his head movement a bit, right? Surely, again, he's got southpaw sparring in so he can see those left hands coming. Because it's not as though those left hands were fast from Zhilei Zhang. I mean, don't get me wrong. Zhilei Zhang had a bit of snap on them, and we need to give Zhang some credit here. He's a good boxer. I mean, I've said that if Zhang beats Joyce again, there's an argument to say Zhang's a top 4 heavyweight. I don't know who comes out, but there's an argument to say that Zhang goes in. Because for me, Zhang beat Hrgovic, and then there's back-to-back wins over Joe Joyce. That's very, very solid. So Zhang is no scrub. The amateur record would tell you he's no scrub as well. But Zhang's nearly 40. I think he is 40. He has slowed down tremendously as well. Joe Joyce should be seeing those punches coming. He should be. He should be. So I'm going to go for revenge with no confidence. I was speaking to Tony Bellew about this fight, and Tony Bellew almost made it sound as though Joe Joyce is a bit like an egg. Once it's cracked, it's cracked. And he thinks that with Joe not being able to take those punches, maybe his punch resistance is just gone now. And that happens with some fighters. Like, you know, those fighters that kind of dine out on having the greatest chins. Once someone cracks them once and that chin gets dent a little bit, then that's it. That chin can't be rebuilt. So he's thinking that if Joe has been cracked and that chin is done, it's done. And if Zhang catches him again, it's done. So I think, if I remember correctly, I think Tony Bellew went repeat. But I'm going revenge. I think Joe Joyce is going to get it done. I think he is going to stop Zhilei Zhang the second half of the fight. I'm going to guess round 8 or 9. I think he's going to have to weather something in the first 3 or 4 rounds, as he had to in the first fight, because Zhang's going to be fresh, right? The tank is going to be full of petrol. I do think that tank's going to get empty very quick, because I expect Joe Joyce to do what he normally does, which is a very high work rate in the early rounds. And normally he's fighters that the opponents can keep up with that, but then they have nothing in the second half of the fights. So I'm expecting to see something like that. But it's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a very, very good fight. And again, I've said it's the heavyweight savior right now because the heavyweight division right now is trash. And these guys are saving it. But yeah, what do you guys think of what I said about Zhang, by the way? Like if Zhang were to beat Joyce again, bear in mind, let's not forget, Joyce coming into that first fight, everyone was talking about Joyce potentially being the one that can beat Fury, AJ. Remember, everyone was like, oh my God, Joyce versus Wilder, Usyk again. He beat Joyce. He beat Joyce. For me, the record books won't say this, but he beat Hrgović. That's solid. That at the time, that's 2 top 10 guys. I think that there is a legitimate argument to say that guy should be a top 4 heavyweight. Honestly, whether it's AJ coming out or Wilder coming out, someone has to come out for him to go in. That's honestly what I believe. I really do believe that. I was thinking about this actually. Like, Hrgović and Joyce, I think, is better than anything Wilder's done. I'm trying to think. Is Hrgović and Joyce better than Luis Ortiz and who else? I don't even know who else. There's an argument. And even AJ's opponents, there's a very, very good argument, but we can have that argument later. Team Crawford member fires back at Canelo. The only great fighter he beat was GGG. Steady. Hopefully this isn't a case of trying to compare resumes. Maybe they're trying to build this fight a bit more, and who knows, I'm talking about Crawford versus Canelo. But one thing you can't do if you are a Crawford team member is look at Canelo's resume and start trying to pick holes in it. You just can't. I mean, I like Crawford. I think it's not Crawford's fault that he hasn't fought the guys, because Crawford couldn't at one stage get the guys. But don't ever try and bring Canelo's resume and Crawford's resume and start trying to do that. Like, yeah, you didn't do this, you did. Canelo's resume annihilates Crawford's resume. Just annihilates. And again, this isn't a case of I'm saying Crawford or Canelo is a better fighter. We're not going to have that debate right now. But if we're trying to do a resume thing, then if you're a Crawford fan, you've lost before we even begun. There's no point. Again, I like Crawford. Back to that point about the only great fighter he beat was GGG. Depends how you think of a great fight. If you're talking Hall of Fame fighters, then yeah, maybe. Was Cotto done at the time? Yeah. I thought the Lara win is a great win. I really do think that Lara win's a great win. Lara was a great fighter. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know. I mean, Danny Jacobs is a solid, like these are solid wins. And then that super middleweight run, solid. Yeah, I don't know. Ryan Garcia eyes ring return later this fall. Oscar Duarte among leading candidates. I see that Ryan put out a tweet saying that he's coming to Milan to do Fashion Week, and then he's going straight back to camp. And I think the plan is for a November fight. I put out a tweet saying what's going on. Lee Eaton, who works closely with Golden Boy, obviously he works with O'Hara Davis, who's now signed to Golden Boy, said, yeah, Ryan Garcia is coming back in November, and then it's a big one in February. So we are going to see Ryan Garcia this year again, which is great. And that's 2 fights. Remember, prior to Ryan Garcia fighting Tank, he had taken a long time out. I think I might have done his last fight. I think I'd done his last fight at the crypto.com arena, the Staples Center. So, yeah, he's taken a long time out. So it's good to see him active. So, yeah, we'll wait to see who the November and February opponents are. I kind of was told about the February opponent, which is crazy. Honestly, the name's crazy. I can't reveal, so I'm not going to get in trouble. But if it is that in February, then looks like Ryan Garcia is about to have some big fights coming up. Jamel Charlo reflects on his maturation. So he's become a lot more mature. I used to run around the boxing world wanting to punch on anybody. That's true. Remember, there was that period when it felt like those guys were just, you couldn't control them. So it was Broner, Spence, Tank, and the Charlo brothers. And you just felt like at every boxing event, every PBC event, these guys were backstage getting drunk and just wanting to cause trouble. And then they started having this infighting. And then it's almost now become just splintered where none of them seem to talk to any of each other. It's actually quite crazy. Maybe they've just all matured. Things have happened. Broner's gone off the rails. Errol Spence had the car crash. Javante looks like he might have knuckled down a little bit, but then he's had his problems as well. I mean, fucking just came out of jail, didn't he, recently? So, yeah, Charlo has definitely chilled. He still has that dog in him, and I think he's going to need that dog for the Canelo fight. But, yeah, he's definitely not what he used to be. Chantel Cameron, Katie Taylor can't hurt me. I'm going to be a lot more aggressive. I'm still shocked that Katie didn't ask for this fight at 135. There's part of me that appreciates the dog in her that says, like, fuck it, let's roll the dice again at 140. But she should have at least tried to hurt Chantel on the scales, and she hasn't done it. I feel like I'm with Chantel here. I mean, I'm not quite like Katie's not got the punch. I mean, Katie would like to have a phone booth fight, but you look at Katie Taylor's knockout record, there's not a puncher there. So yeah, I'm not quite sure. I don't know what Katie can do to get this win over Chantel. I really don't. It would be an incredible victory. Like, if she were to do this, incredible. But I just can't see it. Honestly, I can't see it. I'd be very, very shocked if it does happen. We'll see. We'll see if it does. All right, let's see if there's anything else. I think I saw something. It was about Tyson Fury in terms of what he wants to do next. And I think everyone's a bit upset. Let me see if I can find it. 2 secs, peeps. Where was it? It was along the lines of Tyson Fury basically saying he doesn't give a fuck. I think I kind of made a video about it, but deep down, I don't care about unifications. I want to go to Hollywood. I want to make as much money as possible. And again, I said, look, that's fine. I don't mind it. I really don't care about that stuff anymore. Just take the belt off him. I don't like it. To me, it seems so simple. Like, maybe there's something I don't know about, like, stripping someone. But when your heavyweight champion, so this is the WBC obviously we're referring to, when your heavyweight champion says pretty much, I don't really care about sort of fighting next in line or unification fight, then it's like, okay, Tyson, you've been a great champion for us. We're going to take that. We're going to take that and we're going to give it to someone who does care. And maybe that person isn't as big a name as Tyson Fury, but we're going to give it to someone that cares a bit more about that strap and will want to do his mandatories and will have good voluntaries and will fight 3 times a year and do all those things, tick every single box, because you don't care about doing that stuff. It's fine. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. Good undercard, by the way, for Fury and Ngannou. So we know about Fabio Wardley versus David Adeleye. That's there. Martin Bakole versus Carlos Takam is a good one. And Joseph Parker versus Simon Keane. Simon Keane rings a bell, and I maybe should know who it is, but I don't. Let's have a quick look. For Simon Keane from Canada, 23-1, but hasn't fought anyone, has he? Beat Eric Molina last time out. Who did he lose to? Lost to Dylan Carmen in 2018. Nickname the Grizzly, 6'5", big guy. Joseph Parker into. Anything else before we wrap? Little bits and bobs. Again, G-Man is with me tomorrow. Me and him are going to break down not just the Joe Joyce, Zhilei Zhang fight, but everything that's going on in boxing. Expect loads of videos from me and G-Man. Should be fun. Other than that, have a safe one. Look after yourself. Peace and love.